Welcome to Movie Men with Greg and Mr. B. I am your host, Greg, and sitting across from me is...
Mr. B.
What's going on, buddy?
Not much. Dude, I'm excited to talk about this film.
I am, too. I'm so excited to talk about it. I freaking love this character. I've loved this character all my life, dude.
Dude, this was like the first superhero movie. Like the first really good one that I watched, and I was like, this movie's tight as hell. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
There's been Batman movies since I was like a very little boy, but they were always just like, more like a drama. They never had that really badass superhero feel. Like this one did. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean, dude. Like, you're talking about like the Michael Keaton Batman, and stuff like that, where it's kind of like, I'm thinking of the one. No, not that one. I don't know, but one of them sucks, dude. Like, I know I think it's Batman and Robin.
That one's horrible.
That one sucks, but that was honestly like the closest we got to like a superhero Batman movie, though, to be honest. The rest were kind of like, I don't know, with like, I don't know, I didn't like it.
The third Batman movie, Batman Forever, with Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones, that was all right. It was just weird, though.
Was that? Oh, that one was good. I thought that one was good.
It was good, but weird. Like,
didn't that one have Poison Ivy, or was that the...
That was Batman and Robin.
Oh, that one sucked.
Yeah, dude. Batman, like, dude, if I watch Batman and Batman Returns, like, right now, I'll see what about them that's good, but also there's lots of parts that are just boring, and I'm just like, these are not that exciting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, like, when Spiderman came out with Tobey Maguire, what was the year, 2002?
Yeah.
Dude, I was like, this movie is badass. You know what I mean?
What were you, like 15 when it came out?
Yeah.
Like, I was 12.
I'll never forget seeing the trailer to this movie when the Green Goblin throws the freaking, like...
The pumpkin bomb?
The pumpkin bombs, thank you. The pumpkin bombs at him and the house is on fire.
Oh,
and he's like, I hate those things. And then he starts dodging them in the air. Like, dude, I saw that trailer. I was like, this movie is going to be freaking awesome.
And freaking awesome it was.
Yeah.
So let's get right into it, if we will.
Let's do it.
The movie that we're covering this week is going to be, if we haven't spoiled it already,
Sorry.
Spider-Man 2002. This film was directed by Sam Raimi. He also worked on Spider-Man 3 from 2007, Evil Dead from 1981, The New Evil Dead from 2013, Don't Breathe from 2016, and Poltergeist from 2015. I just want to ask you, did you see Don't Breathe?
Holy shit, yes.
You liked it?
Did you see it?
I did see it.
You didn't like it?
I didn't hate it, but...
I really, really enjoyed it. It was... Yeah. I watched it by myself. I was able to concentrate. Like,
did you have the lights down?
Yeah.
Oh, that was good.
And it was just so brutal. And like, so many things were unexpected. I really don't want to spoil anything, but
right.
I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Like, so many things happened in the movie. I was just like, damn, I really didn't think that would happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to spoil any part of that either, but there's when she goes into a certain part of the house and sees some stuff. Yeah. You're like,
or the main guy, the main character, his name is Alex in the movie. Yeah. Like, just everything he goes through, it was just like, jeez, I didn't see that coming.
The problem I had with that movie, though, is that, like, the blind guy is like a good guy, but he's also like a bad guy for some parts in the movie. Yeah. But then also, but it kind of wants you to, like, root for the burglars, but they're, like, breaking into this guy's house.
Right, but you kind of realize that the blind guy is not a good guy, and he like deserves what he's getting, if not way more than what he's getting. You know what I mean? Yeah. But let's get back into the topic.
The topic, back to Spider-Man. That's going to be also written by David Coep. Does that name sound familiar?
Negative.
It's either David Coep or David Cope, maybe? I don't know. He is a stud muffin, and let me tell you why. He has worked on Mission Impossible from 1996.
Nice.
Jurassic Park, 1993.
Jeez.
War of the Worlds, 2005.
Meh.
I like that movie, actually. Jack Ryan, 2014.
Never saw it.
Angels and Demons, 2008.
Excellent.
Indiana Jones, 2008.
You know what, dude?
Isn't that the one with Shia LaBeouf?
Yeah, I haven't seen any Indiana Jones movies. Don't freak out on me, all the listeners. You guys are not movie men. You haven't seen any Indiana Jones movies. Like I've said before in previous episodes, we can't see them all. And I know that there's really no excuse why I haven't seen any Indiana Jones movies. But honestly, that kind of movie never really appealed to me. But I will. I'll get around to it. I'll see them all. And then
just marathon it.
Yeah.
Spider-Man stars Tobey Maguire, who plays Peter Parker, Kirsten Dunst, who plays Mary Jane. Willem Dafoe, who plays the Green Goblin. And James Franco, who plays Harry Osborn, Willem Dafoe's son. The plot of Spider-Man goes as so. Should I do a voiceover voice?
Yeah.
All right. Let me get taking some breaths for this. When bitten by a When bitten by a genetically modified spider, a nerdy, shy, and awkward high school student gains spider-like abilities that he eventually must use to fight evil as a superhero after tragedy befalls his family.
That sounded so tight, dude. I loved it.
I'm just trying to change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Keep it going. Even though I freaking messed up on, what did I say on tragedy? Tragedy. All right, Mr. B, let's get into it, man. Who is your favorite character and who is your least favorite character of Spider-Man?
Well, my favorite character of Spider-Man is, of course, J. Jonah Jameson. No, I'm just playing.
Parker! Not now. Give me the world's smallest violin.
No, my favorite character is Spider-Man. Is Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker. I don't think I really need to explain why, do I? I mean, he's Spider-Man.
I don't think so.
He becomes the Spider Boy, and I love that movie. And I love
Spider Boy.
I just like his character in the movie the most. I mean, who can you really like more? I'm sure you're gonna find some way to like somebody more. But yeah, dude, Spider-Man, he's my favorite. He should be yours too.
He is.
I'm sure he's not. Yeah, right. But my least favorite character in the movie is that's a thinker. Honestly, don't get mad at me, anybody. But I think
Aunt May.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Aunt May. And the reason why, I'm just going to keep it completely real. I don't really like that actress.
I don't
She's
either.
like an older actress. I just don't buy her acting. I just don't like her face. I just don't like anything about her. I mean, I have my right to feel that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not because she's an old woman, but you know what I mean? I really like the old woman from Titanic a great deal. I think she's a fantastic actress. I just don't like this lady.
I don't either. There was something about her just kind of bugged me.
Yeah, and it sucks that she's in all 3 damn movies. And I'm like, oh, God. I mean, she wasn't that bad, but easily the most boring character on screen and the one that I'm just like, move on. I don't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just being honest. She's my least favorite. What about you?
So my favorite character, you nailed it, is Spider-Man. I mean, he's got to be your favorite character. Like, he's a good dude. You know what I mean? And he like cares for that one girl, and he like tries to impress her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like a cool dude, and I don't know. I thought his character was cool. Like, but you know what's funny is like if you're asking me, like say we were doing all 3 of the Spider-Mans. By the time we got to the 3rd Spider-Man, if you asked me who my least favorite character is, I'd say Spider-Man.
Not me, dude. Not even close.
In the 3rd one,
and the third
when
one,
he's doing like the dancing and
that's the one. That's the only scene that's stupid. But then, like the rest of the time, when he's the whole dancing down the street and like looking in the windows and snapping his fingers, and then that is all ridiculously dumb. I don't know why that somehow made to the theatrical release of the movie. It is just stupid. I'm sure anybody listening right now is like completely agreed. Everybody was like, "What the hell is this?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I did like him when he was in the suit and being bad. Then he was cool.
Well, yeah.
He was a badass, and he was like, I liked that. But, yeah. I wouldn't say he's my least favorite in the movie.
And actually, just like your least favorite, my least favorite also is Aunt May. Like you said, like you pretty much hit everything I probably would have said about her. I don't know. Something about that actress.
Yeah.
I don't know who she is. I mean, I didn't write it down. I didn't care to write it down.
She was just corny, you know?
Yeah.
It's not believable.
She seemed like she needed like a husband who was older than Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
Like
she's like a really old lady.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, what do you think of, and I don't really want to venture too much into the other reboots of this, but what did you think of Sally Fields as Aunt May with the Andrew Garfield one?
I actually only saw the first one once when it first came out, and I barely remember it, honestly. I didn't even see the sequel.
It's got the lizard guy.
Yeah.
It sucks.
I didn't really, it was not memorable to me. I'm so glad that they're rebooting it, and I cannot wait to see the new one coming out. Man.
Yeah.
The trailer looks so awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. I can't wait to see it and then do an episode on it.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome. Okay, well, cool. Yeah, so my least favorite is Aunt May. Your most favorite is Spider-Man, and we have the same. So, cool. Let's move on to that. I want to know, do you have any gripes about Spider-Man?
Gripes? Definitely, yes.
Let's hear some of them.
I don't like Macy Gray's music at all.
What?
I don't like her music. And just...
I try to say goodbye and I choke. Try to walk away and I stumble.
Yeah, dude, I can't...
Try to hide it. It's clear. My world crumbles when you are not here. Hi.
You better not edit that out, dude. The world deserves to hear that. Yeah, dude, I don't... That's a gripe. That whole scene when she's singing is just like nails on a chalkboard to me. I don't like her voice. I didn't like that. Any other gripes that I can think of that quickly as much as I didn't like that? Not really, honestly. I thought the whole movie was pretty cool. No, I can't really think of anything else off the top of my head.
Let me get into some of mine, and then maybe one or two might pop up off what I'm saying.
All right.
Here's a gripe. A big one. I really, even though it was cool, I hated the fact that when he got bit, that he like just formed like a web thing in his wrist. That really bugged me because if you watch the very first like Spider-Man animations from like the 60s or whatever,
yeah,
like he's supposed to be like this super smart, it's like scientist kind of kid, and he like builds his web shooters.
Okay, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And then even in the 90s cartoon, do you remember that one?
No,
Spider-Man?
I never watched it.
Really? Wow, that's really good, actually. And yeah, he built a thing, and he has little web cartridges that he puts in. And so whenever he's flying through the air, like randomly, like once in a while, he'll like be like thinking to himself as he's like flying through the air on his web.
Huh.
And then he'll go to do like the next web, and like nothing will happen. And it'll go like, and like nothing will come out. And he's like, oh no. No, I'm out. That was my last web cartridge, and it'll like fall from the sky.
So what's the web made of then?
It's just
something he created.
It's just like he kind of like evolved into like having like these patches on his wrists. Oh wait, in the cartoons?
Yeah, in the cartridge.
Oh, it's just like he just makes it. I don't know. It's webbing,
like just
but
some
like,
stuff like that he makes.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah,
that's really weird. I feel like it shouldn't have ever been that way. Doesn't it make more sense to you that he got bit by the spider? So that would be some kind of what's the word?
Just something
some kind of mutation or something, you know?
That he can spin web, yeah.
Yeah.
But he has all of his other superpowers, like his strength and his speed, and like he can
climbing walls like a spider.
He can do all that stuff, but like he couldn't do the web or something, so he like made
That's weird. Own. I disagree with that. I mean, who am I to disagree with?
Right.
You know what I mean? But I just, in my opinion, I think it would have always made more sense to have him actually come out of his wrists.
Well, I honestly think that what you're saying is how I feel too.
Okay.
I think that it would have been awesome if it was just a mutation and he was able to shoot web out of his wrists. I think that would be amazing.
Yeah.
But the gripe that I have about the movie is that knowing that that's not how it is, then it's kind of annoying that they just decided to go change that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's just a gripe.
I can respect that too.
I also have the gripe where I don't like how Harry and Mary got together for a portion. Yeah, for a portion of it. Like it kind of pisses me off because it's like these are supposed to be like the three like best friends, like the three amigos, right? Like remember when Harry and Mary Jane are like at the party, his birthday party? It's like a surprise birthday party for him, and Aunt May's there.
Yes.
And then Harry goes up and he kind of like whispers something to Peter, and he's like, "She's waiting for you, pal."
Yeah.
Remember that?
Uh-huh.
So he obviously knows how much Pete likes her, right? And then there's that whole thing where they're both taking out he's taking out the trash, Peter is, and then she's like yelling at Mary Jane's yelling with her dad, and she like storms out into the backyard.
Yeah.
And they kind of have an over the fence conversation. Remember?
Yeah.
And you can tell that they both like each other. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like Pete knows it, she knows it. Like everybody knows that they have a thing for each other. It's just that they never acted on it. So it kind of like annoyed me that at some point like Harry and Mary Jane got like together.
Like his best friend just like, fuck it.
And her, like knowing that that's his best friend, and you know what I mean?
And then like in the second movie, he's just like, you need to like just kind of accept it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Isn't it in the second movie?
No, that's it's actually in the first movie when it ends, I believe, because in the second movie is when she sees Pete and she wants him to go to the play and he's late, Remember?
Right.
So
Oh,
she kinda,
that's
like,
right.
Forgets about him and gets with the astronaut.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. All right. I
Yeah,
remember.
that's how that ends. But the Harry part, I think that's only for the first movie,
Oh, okay.
and then it ends.
And then
at
also
some point.
briefly in the third movie when they kiss, when they're cooking omelets. But
Really, man, I need to watch 3 again though, because I freaking don't remember that at all.
dude, oh man, you know what's funny is I just watched your episode of Why Him today on YouTube.
My review.
Yeah, your review for Why Him, starring James Franco, and you said that you love James Franco, and I totally agree with you when he's doing comedy, but when he's like in a movie like Spider-Man and Spider-Man 3, he annoys the hell out of me, especially in Spider-Man 3.
Well,
I can't stand him in Spider-Man 3.
But that's his acting though. Like that's good though, because you're not supposed to like Harry. Harry's kind of like this pretentious like asshole in a way, you know, where
yeah.
remember in the second movie where he's just all about like Oscorp and making money, and he's like, Otto, what do you got for me? Like, let's make me money and stuff.
I don't like him at all in those movies. I know that he's playing a character that you're not supposed to love, but I don't like him at all. Like, not for a minute except the very end of the third one when he like
Helps
teams
Spider-Man.
up with Spider-Man, yeah. And then it's like, okay, he just like instantaneously turned into a character that you're supposed to really like now. And it
Right.
worked. It did work. I did like that. But just the way he acts, his character playing Harry Osborn, I didn't like Harry Osborn. You know what I mean? And I don't know if it's just because of his great acting, but there's just like one specific scene that I'm thinking of in the third movie when him and Mary Jane are cooking in the kitchen. They're like, she comes over to like help him like after he wakes up from the hospital and he's got kind of like amnesia and he's like, he doesn't remember attacking Spider-Man and shit. And he's like all good again. And he's not mad at Spider-Man for killing his dad. And he's like he's like, you know, he's like normal Harry again. There's just one scene when they're cooking in the kitchen and just his acting and everything in the kitchen is just like, I hate this guy. You know what I mean? Not only do I hate his character, but I don't like this actor right now. I don't know, dude. I can't really explain it any further than that. But
Do you like? Did you see that movie with him and Jonah Hill called like A True Story or something, or called True Story?
No, I wanted to. He plays Christian Longo.
Yeah,
It's a true story. Yeah, I really wanted to see that. Did you see it?
yeah.
Was it really good?
It was okay.
Yeah.
It was entertaining. I liked it. I'm glad I watched it. Would
Is
I
it
watch
like-
it again? No.
I've heard it's like a just pure drama, no comedy at all.
Yeah, and so
Really?
they do really good acting in it. Yeah,
Well, I know for sure that Jonah Hill is a good serious actor.
Yeah.
After seeing Wolf of Wall Street.
oh for sure, dude. Well, anyways, let's try and keep this to Spider-Man. We're like getting way
sorry.
off topic here.
Always branching off. Sorry.
So do you have any other gripes though about this movie?
Not that I can think of.
I have another quick one, real fast.
Okay.
I don't like the Green Goblin suit. Like actually I liked the Green Goblin suit a lot, to be honest, but when I remember the Green Goblin, he has like a goblin face, and then he's got like an elf hat kind of that he wears. It's like purple, and then he's got like a purple like cloak on kind of.
Really?
Yeah, and he rides the glider and stuff, but in this movie he was like kind of like a metalized Green Goblin.
I'll be honest. I'm sure it's pretty clear by now. I never saw the comics of Spider-Man when I was a kid. I never watched any of the shows. I'm only familiar with Spider-Man from the movies, to be quite honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the video games. Not that really that matters at all, but I played a lot of Spider-Man video games.
Oh, me too.
And yeah, so I don't remember stuff like that. But it's good that you do. You can add a little extra.
Oh, yeah, definitely, man. All right, well, we're done with gripes, so I think it's about that time, man.
Let's do it.
You know what time it is?
It's time for
Top highlights.
It's time for our top highlights. Would you want to go first? What are some things you love about this movie, man? What are some cool scenes?
the scene when they kiss in the rain when he's upside down, dude. So tight.
Okay, so what do you like about that scene?
Well, first of all, I like the damsel in distress being rescued by the hero type of scenario. I've always loved that shit. And this one was one of the earliest ones I've seen. I saw it when I was like a preteen. I must have been like 14, 15.
You were probably 15 or 16.
Okay, so teenager, I guess. But I like seeing her in distress with those freaking guys in the alley, and then he shows up and kicks their ass, and he loses his mask and then disappears, and then he like slings down upside down.
Right.
And this is the part I really loved when she's like, "Do I get to say thank you this time?" And then I don't think he says anything back, and then she just kind of pulls his mask down. She could have just ripped that shit off, and he would have been like, "Oh!" But
He's all, hi.
But no, Hollywood, you know. So she pulls it down halfway, just past his like nose, and then they do this like upside down kiss, and it was just like, who thought of that? Who wrote that? That's tight. You know what I mean?
That's
and it was
super
just
cool.
like really romantic and cool. And then as soon as the kiss is over, he just like slings up and he's
Peace
just
out.
like gone. And she just like, and she's hot as hell. Like I can't stress this enough. Her, like,
Kirsten Dunst nips.
yeah, dude, the freaking wet t-shirt. Like, come on now. And
I know.
I'm sorry, like all the females listening. I'm sorry, I was born normal. You know what I mean? And all the guys, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That dude, that scene was tight. Everything about it, like I loved it.
Oh, me too. I love that part. I love when he's fighting in the actual rain. He's fighting those guys.
Yeah,
It's just like, it's so cool how he's taking them down.
throwing them against the windows and shit.
Yeah, like beating them down, not just doing some cool Spider-Man webbing trick. Like he's actually like whooping on them.
Yeah.
I thought that was amazing. You started to mention this in the beginning. I want to bring it up now, though.
Okay.
The burning building scene.
Oh yeah.
Where I think at this point, actually, the town is starting to come like against Spider-Man. Like they want him under arrest or something, remember?
Yes.
At like this point.
Mm-hmm.
And he like shows up at the burning building and he goes in and he there's a kid in there, right?
Yes.
And he gets the kid or the baby or something and he like zips out of the window right when it's about to explode or something like that. Remember? And he like jumps out and it explodes and the lady's like, no, or my baby or
And
something.
then he hears like a crying noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he jumps down and he gives the woman the baby and then they hear the crying noise, like the old woman crying and stuff, like, "Ah!"
Yeah.
right? I think there's like a police officer right there, like ready to arrest him, and he's like, come on, like I'm Spider-Man, I gotta go in there.
And he's like, go.
Yeah, all right, do it, you know. And he
Yeah.
like jumps up and he goes in there, and he's and he just starts like walking through the flames, which looks awesome.
Yeah.
And then like he sees like the old woman in like the hooded whatever she's wearing, like a scarf over her head, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, "Ma'am, like we got to go or something, right?" And he puts the hand on the shoulder, and when it turns around, it's the Green Goblin.
And there's like a small taste of like horror right there. You're just like,
Heck, it
holy
made you jump.
shit.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like he's just like, "Whoa!" Like way taken off surprise, and then they start
Yeah.
like fighting, and that's when the Green Goblin takes like a different type of pumpkin bomb. Like he's got the ones that blow up,
Yeah.
like a grenade, and then he has the one where he like.
The Ninja Star ones.
Yeah, he like clicks it and then like throws it at Spider-Man and it goes slow motion and it breaks open. And there's like
So
there are like 4 or 5 blades like flying at him. And
This has to be the tightest part of the movie.
oh, it is.
You
Well,
know?
this or the ending,
Yeah.
which we will get into.
Yeah.
No doubt. And and then like you said, like he's doing like I always call those kind of scenes like the Matrix scenes. Where it's
Yeah.
like slowed down and you can see amazing stuff.
Yeah.
But he like jumps up and he doesn't just like dodge it like once and it's done.
He's dodging like several of them at the same time.
Yeah, and he like jumps up and like it flies at him, and he like does this like McTwist thing.
Yeah, dude.
And he like twists and it flies all around him, and then it like comes around again back at him, and then it like flies at him again. And remember, he like that's when he jumps up and does like the splits, and then
Yeah.
puts his like head down, and it flies right over him.
Yeah. Dude, I got to say something about that real quick.
Yeah.
This whole thing when he's dodging these damn things, it was so unique in the way that like when you watch like a movie like nowadays like The Avengers or something, I don't know, that's just off the top of my head. Like they'll do crazy awesome shit, but you don't really get to see how they did it because it happens really fast and you're just like, that's not really that believable. Like how'd they do that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In this scene, it's slow motion and like everything, all the motions that he's doing makes sense. Like if he's fast enough and agile enough, he could dodge them in the way. Like there's no. Do you know what I mean?
I know exactly
like,
what
it
you mean.
shows him dodge all these things like in a realistic way if he was that fast and that agile. And it was just so, I really appreciate that. It was just really cool to see. And it was just like, damn, this fool is Spider-Man, dude. Like
Right.
nobody else could dodge that shit that quickly. Like tons of them just being thrown
Yep.
at him like that. I just really thought that was really tight. And I really appreciate
And
that.
then it speeds up right after that, and there's like more of the blades flying at him. Remember? And he's like dodging like 1, 2, 3, and then he puts his like arm up, his forearm, and it like cuts his forearm. Remember?
Yep.
And he's like, ah,
Yeah.
right. And then he continues to like to fight the dude, and then he eventually just like jumps out of the building or something.
Yeah.
And and then he takes off and like, oh man. And then that following that scene is when it's like Thanksgiving, I think. And they
and
show up to Aunt May's house or somebody's. I think it's Aunt May's new apartment or something. Or no, it's his apartment.
Yeah.
Whose is it? Whose place is
It's
it?
Peter's. Yeah, because he's in his bedroom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then Willem Dafoe, the Green Goblin, shows up and he's like, "I'm sorry, I'm late. I brought a fruitcake."
So
then,
creepy, dude.
yeah, and then he comes up and he goes,
Your tits are so juicy, dude.
You got
Sorry.
perfect nipple placement, baby.
Sorry, I just had to throw that out there again.
That should be mentioned at like the end of every episode.
Yeah, dude.
But like I should play the actual clip from the movie.
It's a real line from the Friday the 13th movie. Like,
Ridiculous, man.
oh wait, no, what was that? That was
It was Friday the 13th.
Was it Freddy versus Jason?
No, Friday the it was the reboot.
Oh, okay.
For the uncut version or whatever, killer cut version. And yes, but anyways, and then so following that scene, they show up for Thanksgiving, and like Willem Dafoe like goes into Peter Parker's room for some reason, right?
And he wouldn't do that.
He just is like
like-
searching around.
It's like, who the hell do you think you are, dude?
Yeah, and then he's like, remember like Spider-Man's like up in the corner of the room, like
Yeah.
being quiet, and then like the blood drips and lands on the floor right behind the Green Goblin.
Yep. And he like, there's like a small ass little splash noise.
Yeah, like,
And he's just like,
and he turns around. Yeah,
and he looks up and he's not there. It's just like, oh,
yeah.
yeah.
And then Peter comes in with some blood, right? And I love that scene where they're sitting around the table and Willem Dafoe like looks at his arm and he's like, and remember he's like starts pointing like his finger or a fork at it or something.
Yeah.
And he's looking down and he's kind of like pointing nonstop and he's like, where did you say you got that cut from? And he's like, a bike messenger or something. He like clipped me.
Yeah.
And I fell down or something like that.
Yeah.
But you know, at that point, like the Green Goblin realizes Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Yeah. Well, maybe not like 100%, but definitely suspects it.
Like highly suspects it.
Yeah. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
That's where I cut Spider-Man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you're late. I'm late.
Oh, man. Willem Dafoe in that scene, too, when he's got the two knives and he's like sharpening them. And he's like
Oh.
smiling and he's just like, it's just like, dude, oh my God, you're creepy. You're creepy as hell. And he's like looking at Mary Jane like he thinks she's hot. And it's just like,
Oh, yeah.
whoa, dude.
I forgot about that.
Not only are you the bad guy, but you're also like a perverted freaking
Weird.
like weirdo. Like,
And you brought a
ugh.
fruitcake.
like, dude, nobody in the world likes
Bring a freaking pumpkin pie, dude. Crazy.
I don't even like pumpkin pie, honestly.
I'm like, ooh, pumpkin pie. And I take a bite. I'm like, next year maybe.
Dude, I liked pumpkin pie when I was a kid.
Because it's like straight up too sugary, man.
Yeah, and there's like Cool Whip all over it. It's like, is there any other pie?
Cool Whip.
Like, Cool Whip. Can't have any pie
Are you
without
saying
Cool
whip? Cool Quip.
Why are you putting so much emphasis on the H?
I'm not. I'm just saying Cool Quip.
You can't have any pie without Cool Whip. But dude, like, yeah, he was just so damn creepy in that whole, especially in that scene when he's looking at Mary Jane, and then like he has that blowout with Harry in the hallway, and he's like, he says something like, "Use her for what you want to," but then like I forget exactly what he
Nice
says, but
voice.
it's just like, yeah. He says something like that, and it's just like hella degrading, and just like use her for whatever you want, and then ditch her fast. That's what he says.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, he says, "Do what you will with her," or some shit like that, and then ditch her fast, and it's like,
And then Harry comes back in and everybody's like looking at him like,
yeah,
dick.
yeah,
Right?
dude. If my dad said that to me, I'd be like, "Fuck you! I'm not going to talk to you for like another 6 months, maybe forever."
know.
You know what I mean? You don't
Yeah.
ever disrespect my girlfriend like that.
Yeah, exactly.
That was ridiculous, but yeah.
Let's talk about the scene before he gets his real costume and he's in like the sweatpants. It's like red and blue sweats.
Yeah.
And he goes to enter that wrestling match to
Oh, I
get to
love
win
it.
that $3,000 or whatever for the car.
You're going nowhere.
Isn't that Randy Macho Man Savage? I believe it was.
I
believe it was.
and he's dead.
Yeah, he died now.
Yeah.
But back then he had Peter Parker for 3 minutes.
I got you for 3 minutes.
You're going nowhere. I got you for 3 minutes.
Yeah, dude.
That's cute. Did your husband make it for you? So I want to know. Okay, so I know you don't know much about the comics or the TV show, but do you at least know that Spider-Man's personality is very wisecracking, very sarcastic?
Yes, I know that he's like that in the comics. He would like constantly like tease the people he's fighting, like in the middle of combat.
middle of fighting.
Yeah,
So do you think that Tobey Maguire's like when he was like, "That's cute," did your husband make that for you? Like his smack talking. Did you think it was like very kind of cheesy actually instead of like wisecracking, or like what is your take on that?
no, because one of our listeners that listens to all of our episodes, his name starts with a B. I spent a lot of time with him when we were kids, and he kind of taught me things about Spider-Man. And he told me that, like, he told me how Spider-Man is, and he's always doing that when he's fighting people. So it always felt genuine to me. I never questioned it. Honestly, I never thought it was really cheesy.
That's good.
I liked it. It was funny, you know?
Well, what about right after that? when Peter goes to collect the money for winning the match, and the guy gives him like $200 or something.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly, but he gives him just like a few hundred instead of like the grand prize, which was like thousands, right? And then he's like, "Not my problem," or something like that. And then like right afterwards, the dude gets robbed by that bleached-haired guy with the gun, and he's like, "Hold the elevator," pretty much. "Hey, I'm coming." And then he runs by, and the dude's like, "Why didn't you stop him?" And he's like, "Not my problem," or something like that.
He says, "I forget the part where that's my problem."
Oh yeah, you're right.
And then he says the same big thing to him. "I forget the part where that's my problem." It's like, damn.
Yeah. Like, good job, man. Like, you totally tit for tat. And then, but then following that immediately, that's when you see the police cars and you see like the crowd of people around the guy.
Yep.
And he goes up and he sees it like, "That's my uncle." Remember?
Yeah.
And it's Uncle Ben and he's on the ground and he's been shot.
Yeah.
I want to know, like, what are your feelings about that scene?
Honestly,
how did it make you feel when you watched it?
It didn't ever make me sad.
Really?
No, not really. Honestly, it wasn't well acted enough. The part I definitely liked Uncle Ben, right?
Yeah.
I definitely liked him more than Aunt May.
Oh, totally.
And but still, his character was boring. I didn't really feel that man was a fantastic actor. When he was dying, it wasn't super sad to me. It was just like I felt more sad for, like, I don't know. I'm like trying to try to find ways that it made me sad right now, but it honestly didn't. It really didn't do anything for me.
It made me sad. Yeah, I actually felt a lot of empathy towards Peter in that moment, because the whole purpose of that happening was because Peter needed Uncle Ben to drive him to the quote-unquote library, remember, to do some studying or whatever. And then once Uncle Ben left, that's when he got his outfit on and went and fought.
He could have just been like, "Yo, Uncle Ben, I just signed up to do a cage match. I'm going to win some money. I'm going to fuck some people up. You're going to take me there."
I'll give you $100 as long as you let me borrow an extra $100. Okay, so I want to know what your take on Mary Jane's, or not Mary Jane, but Kirsten Dunst's Mary Jane. Like, what did you think? Did you think she was a perfect Mary Jane, or
In the first movie,
what about the second movie?
no.
No.
And the reason why, man, people are going to just not like me in this episode. But in the second one, her hotness level just completely just went down.
Yeah.
Like in the first movie, like
Sexy. When the first time you see her on the bus in slow motion.
Yeah, dude.
You're like, dang.
And the alley scene when she kisses Spider-Man, and pretty much the whole damn movie in the first movie. Like, she had the beautiful red hair. Her body wasn't too skinny. Like, she just looked like a normal girl.
She was
just
filled out. She had actually dark red hair.
Yeah.
Which was really cute.
And she was hot, man. In the second movie, you can tell that she's like lost a lot of weight. And that, you know what? The studio probably didn't even demand that she do that. That was probably just all her, like, worrying about her figure. And it's like, you did the opposite of what you're really wanting to do.
Yeah, and you looked great.
Yeah, you looked great in the first movie, and now you're just like, all right.
And not just her body, which I agree. She got like a lot skinnier in the second movie.
Yeah, and just,
But also, I mean, she wasn't as skinny as that girl that had a crush on Pete. Remember, that lived in his apartment complex? She was like, "Hi, Pete." That girl was skinny.
But she was also really cute, though. If I'm being honest.
But what also changed throughout the second movie was Mary Jane's hair got like orange. You know, it was like kind of like more like yellowy orange than it was that nice dark red color from the first movie.
Yes.
You noticed that?
Uh-huh.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Why would you change that? Like,
I don't know.
But let's talk about. I thought she did actually looks.
In the third, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
In the third movie, she looks even worse, in my opinion. It's just like, what the hell happened?
I don't know.
Why are you getting uglier?
I mean, she did age probably like 4 years by that point.
I know, but damn, this.
Yeah.
I don't know.
She was pretty good in the first one and
yeah,
kind of dropped the ball a bit on
I'm glad you agree.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I do agree. But I thought she actually did a pretty good job being Mary Jane.
Acting, yeah, definitely. I'm sorry, I didn't even mention her acting ability. Her acting was fine. She was great. I think she played a really good Mary Jane. Yeah.
Is there anybody that you can think, maybe within the first 15 seconds, of who you think would have played a better Mary Jane?
Yeah, Natalie Portman.
Really?
Yeah, man. When Natalie Portman was younger, like when she did the movie Garden State, she was adorable. Like,
yeah.
Dude, yeah. I've always been a fan of Natalie Portman.
But you could see her with like the red hair.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I think Natalie Portman's a good actress. I think dude, it's not that hard to pull off Mary Jane. She's like quiet and freaking insecure and kind of a bitch and just like, I'm sorry, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's like a really difficult role to achieve, you know?
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine. Plus, she's not like a huge star in it, so
Yeah,
she's not in it too often.
I don't think it was that hard to play Mary Jane.
Yeah,
I think it was more of a challenge to play Harry Osborn, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I could see that. Let's talk about when he gets bit in the like spider place that he's in. Like that whole scene where he gets bit and then like sees the spider and like it falls to the ground. Remember? And he sees it and he's kind of like confused, like, what? I just got bit.
Yeah.
And then he goes home and he gets like kind of nauseous and he goes and lay down and he's like super pale and skinny. And then he wakes up and he's like different. Like, I want to talk about like, what did you think? Some thoughts. How did you feel about from when he's taking her picture and gets bit to that moment where he's like buff?
I loved it. I thought it was, man, you're hitting these scenes really, really good, dude. Great job.
Thank you.
I thought it was great. The whole part, I never thought like this is lame. When he gets bit by the spider, once again, I need to remind you though, and the listeners, that I'm not that familiar with Spider-Man's lore and like his comic book, and
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So I can really only go off of what they first showed me in the movie, and I didn't have any reason to not like it or think it was bullshit or not. You know what I mean?
So would you have just, if you were in a place that had a bunch of radioactive spiders in it, and then you got bit by a blue and red spider, would you have just kind of been like, I got bit, and then go home and not tell anybody? Or would you have like immediately been like, no, I just got bit. Like,
well,
it was a red and blue one. What does that mean?
I see where you're going, where you're going with this. Like he
kind of shrugged it off.
Yeah.
Like, no big deal.
But I think some people would. Like, I've met people that get bit by something and they're just like, whatever. And me, I'd be like, dude, no, I just got bit by a fucking spider. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I need some anti-venom or some shit, like peroxide, like some shit. But there are people in the world that would just be like, fuck it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe.
You know, and maybe he was just one of those kind of people.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I want to ask you this before I forget it. Did you see that MTV thing with Jack Black and Sarah Michelle Gellar where they redid Spider-Man? They recreated it?
Yes.
Dude, I just recently watched that again because it popped in my mind and I YouTubed it and I saw that and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is hilarious, dude.
Yeah,
I forgot how funny it was.
I did. I need to rewatch it too. I haven't seen it in years, but I did see it. I know what you're talking about.
So what'd you think about after he got bit and then now he like goes home and he's like super pale and then like he like falls, he doesn't fall asleep, but he like falls to the ground kind of, remember? And then he like reaches his hand up and pulls a blanket over him and he's just like laying on the floor shaking and stuff.
Yeah.
And then he like wakes up. Like, what do you think about that part?
Well, now that you're mentioning it, I never thought about it on the spot because I was younger when I saw it.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? But now that I'm thinking about it, like, you're kind of making me realize that that's probably not how you'd really react to something like that happening to you. You'd probably open your door, stumble out into the hallway, and be like, something's fucking happening to me. I don't feel good. I got bitten by a spider. I think I'm dying. Take me to the hospital, please. You know what I mean?
Uncle Ben is just like, well, you know, with great spider bites comes a lot of nausea. He's like, Uncle Ben, stop philosophizing right now. I'm shaking.
He falls on the ground. He's like dying. And he's like, oh, I need a blanket. I'm cold. I think you're making a good point here. Like, that's not very believable. You would definitely go out in the hallway and be like, something's happening to me. But but when he wakes up, though, I thought that was really cool. He's like all ripped up and he's like looking in the mirror and he feels fine. And
yeah.
She even says he's dead. She's like, wait, did he die at that point?
No,
he's still alive. So was it him talking to him through the door when he's like, Peter, are you okay? Was that him or was that Aunt May?
I think it was Aunt May.
Okay, but one of them is like, are you okay? I think you're right. And he's like, I'm fine. And he's like flexing in the mirror and he's like hella ripped up.
Like, I'm good. I'm fine.
But yeah.
And then I like that. Then when he runs downstairs to go to school and he like kind of like, remember he like kind of puts his hand on the wall and like runs across the wall.
No.
As he's running downstairs, he kind of just like jumps across the wall and like jumps down.
No, I don't remember.
And he like
that.
grabs a bagel or something and takes off or whatever.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And he starts leaving. And then what's different from the very beginning is in the beginning you see the bus take off and Peter Parker's like running after it and he's like slapping the side. Remember? And he's like, hey, let me in. And like everyone's laughing at him, and the bus driver just keeps driving and is kind of laughing at him too.
Yeah.
He's like a geek.
Uh-huh.
And then after he gets his powers, like the same thing happens where the bus takes off without him, and he's like running, but this time he like hecka freaking fast catches up to the bus because he's got like super speed.
Dude, no, I don't
And
remember
he runs
this.
up and he's like slapping the side of the bus like, hey, you forgot me, blah, blah, blah. And he like slaps the banner on the side of the bus and it like sticks to his hand. And he's like, what the F?
And he stops.
And he like stops and the bus drives away and the banner is like stuck to his hand. And then
I
he
do
rips the
remember
banner
that.
off and then he looks at his fingers and that's when the little microscopic hairs like start to stick up
Yeah.
and like
okay.
curl up. Remember? And he's like, whoa.
I do remember that now.
And then he goes down an alley and he touches the wall and he like realizes he can stick to it and he just starts climbing up the wall.
Yeah.
You remember that? Or actually that part takes place a little bit farther, and this is after he basically runs out of his high school because he gets in the fight with Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
And like, remember all that?
Yes.
I love when he's sitting at the lunch table and his Spidey sense is going off and he sees Mary Jane and she like slips.
And he like
Remember?
catches everything.
And he catches everything. Like, that's so cool. And then,
Yeah.
but he has her in one hand, and she's like, wow. And then she goes, your eyes are blue. I've never noticed that. And you're a little taller. And he's like, yeah, I guess. And then
he's like, I'm a G.
Yeah.
Let's go out.
because that's also when he's sitting there and he's like eating like something, and he shoots out a web on accident. Or no, he like pulls out, like he notices the fork is stuck to his wrist, and he pulls out the fork and he sees like this webbing and he's like, what?
Yeah.
And then he like accidentally does the Spider-Man hand and it shoots the web across to somebody's tray and he like rips it back and like smashes into the wall and he's like, oops. And he like leaves, and then that's when he gets in the fight with Flash Gordon. And then remember Flash like punches at him and he like
Slow-mo.
slow-mo, but he's not slow because he's so fast, and he's like, huh.
Yeah.
And then he like dodges all the dude's hits and stuff, and like makes him, I don't know, somehow he wins the fight.
He kicks his ass. I don't think
I think he
ever,
like just runs into like the locker or something and gets a black eye or something.
No, he hits him and he like flies across the hall.
Does he?
And, like,
He hits him?
He slide. I don't know if he hits him.
I'm foggy on that part.
I think he might push him. I think he just pushes him. No, I'm foggy too. But I know that Flash Gordon flies across like the hall and like somebody drops like a tray of chocolate pudding on his face or something like that.
Yeah,
Remember?
and then the teacher stops it and stuff. And
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, and because then right after that, it's after graduation, or something like that, and then he like drives Mary Jane home. Remember? And then Mary Jane pops out of the car and she's like, hey, and he's like, is Flash okay? And he's like, yeah, just kind of like upset that he's got a black eye for graduation.
Yeah.
Remember? That's like all that happened to him.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's cool. Let's see.
The ending, bro.
Let's talk about the ending.
Yeah.
It's time.
Yeah.
So, can you step by step get me to the ending?
How
How did they end up on like the roof of something?
she gets kidnapped by the Green Goblin, right? And he's got
Aunt May, right? No, he just blows up the apartment pretty much. Remember,
Yeah.
she's in the hospital, and then
he's got like that like
he's got
something full of people.
it's like a
he's,
trolley
hanging.
thing that goes across
Yeah.
the lake or something.
And he's like, choose, and he drops them both at the same time, and he
Yeah.
rescues
he rescues both,
Mary Jane first.
of course. Why wouldn't
He's
you?
like, yeah, your life is worth more than those
These strangers.
17 people over there.
Yeah, but
Freaking idiot.
I like the way he did that though, and he like saved them and stuff. And you know what I thought was cool was the Green Goblin was on his glider, remember? And he's like flying in the air and he's like talking smack to Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he gets hit with like a carrot or something. And he's like, what? And he like turns around and people on the bridge are like,
Yeah.
you mess with Spider-Man, you messing with New York. Yeah, you mess with all of us.
Yeah,
And
dude.
they're like starting to throw their groceries. Like
you should be a freaking voice actor, man. But yeah, dude, that was It's a really great sequence. I love all of that shit.
And he's like, and then like I think like after that they're like fighting, and I think that's when like Spider-Man like comes up and like body slams him like into the top of the roof or something. I don't know how they get there,
Dude, they like fly. They somehow like fly, like with his glider or some shit, like hella far from the bridge and land in like a brick building, like an abandoned building.
Yeah,
and it's
like
all
on the
dusty
roof,
and
or
shit.
is it, or something?
It's like no, it's like in a building. It's in a building like on the top story of by the roof or something like that.
Yeah.
and it's like all dusty and shit in there, and there's like
And
boards and all kinds of debris
leaves
and shit
and stuff.
Yeah, and then that's when Spider-Man gets his ass kicked by the Green Goblin, and Green Goblin like does like this badass flip and like punches him in the face, and he's like ooh, ooh, and he's just like kicking his ass, dude. And then Spider-Man eventually is just
Let's talk about Spider-Man real quick though. Like when he's getting beat up, that is so intense.
Yeah,
so brutal.
Because his mask comes off a little bit, and you can see his face.
Well,
and
pumpkin
he's like,
bomb goes off in his face.
Yeah, and he's and he's reacting to the pain and getting his ass kicked, and he's like, I don't want to say screaming, but he's just like, yeah. You know what I mean? He's just like, like he's getting his ass beat by this guy. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And yeah, dude, very good point. I wouldn't have brought that up, but yeah.
And like blood is coming out from his mouth and stuff.
Getting
Remember that?
Hella messed up. Yeah.
And then the Green Goblin comes up and he's like walking up to him slowly and he's taunting him, kind of like, you know.
And then he has that crowd pleaser moment where he's just like, "Nah, I'm gonna kick your ass now." And he like sits up and just like he shoots like all that web and makes like a web wall, and then he starts like climbing through it, and then he like shoots like a brick wall behind him and like pulls it on top of him, remember, from the back or something like that.
Oh yeah, and then it lands. I don't know about those. I don't know about the spider wall.
He does do that.
You remember?
Yeah, he does.
That.
That's right. That's like he's like trying to keep the freaking guy away from him because he's kicking his ass. So he sits up and he starts making the web wall, and it's like, and it like creates a whole wall. But then the Green Goblin just like tears through it, and it like almost makes like a noise, like he's clawing through like metal or some shit because it shit's so strong.
Dang,
you don't remember that?
No, it's been so long since I watched the first one.
Guaranteed the whole scene is on YouTube.
All right, I'll watch it. But yeah, you're right though. He pulls the brick building down on, or not it's
the
like
brick
a
wall from behind him,
and it smashes on him.
Yeah,
and then he takes off the Green Goblin mask and he's like, "Peter, it's me, like Mr. Osborn or whatever."
Yeah.
Do you remember his first name? Something Osborn. Because you got Harry Osborn, but what was his name? I don't remember.
I'm drawing a blank. I don't know.
It doesn't really matter. He's Green Goblin.
Let us know, listeners.
Yeah, hit us up on Twitter at moviemen_.
Please.
Let us know. Also, so the building falls on him, and then he's like on the ground, and he's trying to be like friends with Peter. Like, you know, we could
don't let him take me again, or some shit.
Yeah, something. I think you're right. And I like your Green Goblin voice. And he's doing something, but he's tricking Peter because Peter's now standing like facing looking down on him.
Yeah.
And he's like, the Green Goblin grabs like his like
remote for his glider.
It's like a remote on his wrist, yeah, for his glider. And he's like slowly pressing the button, and then he like hits it again. He's like, "You fool," or something like that, or I don't know if he says.
He doesn't say anything.
He just hits it.
I think he just hits it, and then the glider like flies, and then the spider sense.
It shoots out these like two spikes.
Yeah,
and it goes vroom, like super
fast. And then he like does a backflip and dodges it within a hair, like just barely dodges it. And then I'll never forget the Green Goblin. He says, "Oh," and then it like impales him through the stomach and into the wall. And he's like, "Ah!" But he says the word. He's like, "Oh, like that didn't work."
Crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just spears him through his like chest or his abdomen or something. And
Yep.
then he even like starts bleeding through the mouth, I think. And there's a part where he like kind of like hunches over and then just stops for a second and then just like and like dies like on the top of the glider.
Yeah, dude, it's pretty brutal.
It's very brutal, surprisingly brutal, especially for like a superhero movie.
Yeah, and it was like the first like kind of new generation millennium one, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With like good special effects.
Well, I'm glad that they took that risk because it really was good.
Mm-hmm.
And then Spider-Man takes him home, remember? Takes the dad home.
Yeah.
And he's like got him like wrapped up in a blanket or bandages or something, but he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
And he like starts setting him down on that sofa couch.
Yeah.
And then Harry comes up and he's like drinking like gin or something. And he's like,
"What have you done?"
Yeah. And then like Spider-Man just takes off, and then like I remember like that part was pretty like dang, you know. And then like at the very end of the movie, once the movie finally wraps up, Peter is like, or not Peter, Harry, he's like, he hears like the ha 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 like throughout the house. Remember? You know it's so funny, dude. When I'm talking to my son and I'm playing with him, I'll go like like from Suicide Squad, right? My son goes. It's super funny, but anyways, so that's when James Franco or Harry, he starts hearing that right, and he hears his dad's voice, and his dad's like talking to him through the mirror.
Yeah.
Remember? And
Avenge me.
Yeah, something like that. And Harry's like, no, and then like throws like that glass, and it breaks through the mirror.
And he sees.
And he walks into the back, and it's like the Green Goblin lair.
Yeah.
And that's when you're like, oh snap, he's about to like be the Green Goblin.
Yep.
Which is awesome. I love that. So that wraps up Spider-Man. Mr. B, do the honors and let me know what you would rate Spider-Man.
Man.
Out of 5.
Oh, dude, this one's hard. I liked it, but it's dated. I've seen so many better superhero movies now.
Yeah, but that's also like a 14-year difference. So
I almost want to like give it a rating what I would have rated it when I was 15 when I saw it.
what do you rate it as a movie right now? And don't think about the sequels or the reboots. Just like this movie, acting, action, everything. Like, what do you rate it?
I think I'd have to give it a 3.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's just a basic, like, bare minimum superhero movie now. Like, when I watch, like, Civil War, or, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
Winter Soldier, like, shit. You know what I mean? That's a 5. Like, that's a badass, really great movie with great acting, all kinds of great characters. And this one is just old, and there's not that much action. There's, like, you know, a few scenes.
Yeah, there's just a few. I mean, but those scenes are really cool.
Yeah,
They
but
do
there
have 'em.
is, but it's also just not a movie that I'm dying to watch again. You know what I
Right.
mean? If I saw it on TV, I probably wouldn't watch it, honestly. It was a good movie, but
Yeah.
I'd rather watch something else.
So you give it a 3?
Yeah, maybe a 3.5 if I'm feeling really generous and really wanting to get into the nostalgia of it, like how it made me feel when I first watched it. What about you?
I'd give this one a 4. 4 out of
4?
5. Yeah, out of superhero movies, this movie was really entertaining, and I have watched it somewhat recently, within the last year or two. And it's, I mean, dang, you think I would remember more, but I don't. But I'd probably give it a 4. I think it was really cool, and I loved what you were talking about, where like, you know, you see the Avengers, and you're like, how do they do this? Come on, like, how do
Yeah.
they fight off 1,000 bad guys? You
Yeah.
know? But it's really cool the way you saw those blades fly, and he like dodged them.
Yeah.
You know, that was awesome. You know, stuff like that. And then the ending is so brutal. It's like, that's what you want in a superhero movie, though. You want a disgusting, bloody battle. You know what I mean?
In the entire trilogy, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man trilogy, there's one scene that's my favorite. And it's in the second movie, believe it or not. And that's the one I dislike the most.
Really?
Yeah. But there's one scene in that one. When I saw it, I was like, holy shit, that was tight. When the train,
Oh, yeah.
when Dr. Octopus is like, you have a train to catch. And then he like jumps off the train and he like waves to him. And then he realizes that the brakes are gone. So he jumps in front of it. And
Yeah.
there's like hella people on the train, like hundreds.
Yeah.
And he's like, and he like tries to do something and then it doesn't work. And then the guy behind him is like, you got any other bright ideas? And he's like, I got a few. Yeah. And he like tries like something else. He like jumps down and like the wood is like smashing his legs. And he's like, ah.
And he's got a bunch of webbing, like, to attach to all these
And then,
different things.
yeah, his final thing he thinks of is to like shoot the webbing like several times from both sides.
Yeah.
And it grabs the building like hella times on both sides. So he's got like multiple strands that he's hanging onto.
Yeah.
And like, dude, they don't rip. And it starts to work and it's slowing down the train. And he's like, he starts to scream because of the pain.
Yeah.
And it shows his suit like rip where his bicep is, and he's just
Yeah.
like, ah! Like, dude, if you watch that scene on YouTube, you'll be like, damn, he's right. That
I'll
was
just watch
so
that movie
tight.
again, man.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say about number 2, actually, was I would rate this one a 4, but the second one, I'd probably do like a 3.5.
Really?
Yeah, because I kind of got bored a little bit with the whole, like, it's the generator and this and, like, the thing.
Yeah.
That, you know, that science stuff kind of was boring.
Number 2 would definitely be a 3 for me.
Yeah.
With no possibility of anything
Spider-Man 1, definitely a 4. I would say a 4. It's one of my favorite superhero movies.
else. Maybe a 3.5 for me. But
But that's what we would rate Spider-Man. So, let's get into our movie news. Do you want to go first?
sure.
All right, what's yours?
Power Rangers, baby.
Nice. The new trailer?
Yeah, dude. This trailer number 2.
Super cool.
Yeah. It's, you know what? Like, when I was a kid, I was into Power Rangers. I loved it. It came out like perfect time for me when I was like 7 years old or some shit. It just was awesome, you know? And it looks the trailer. I really want it to be good for the nostalgia.
Me too.
And it's just, there's some things I'm so nervous about. I know I'm going to take my kids to see it for sure. And I don't think I'm going to love it. But they're like, after seeing the second trailer, it shows like the Megazords and shit. I'm just
Yeah.
like, this might actually be kind of tight. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm just like, I've got like hopes, but I don't want to like.
I say
get
just
my
go
hopes
into
too
it.
up, you know.
Just go into it knowing you're seeing a Power Rangers movie. Like, it could be amazing, but my biggest fear is that they're gonna get their powers, and because it shows them in the trailer that they're super strong without the suits,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And my biggest fear is that like 80% of the movie they'll be like not in their suits, and then like at the very end it's like it's morphin' time,
Yeah.
and then it's like I just wanted to see them in their suits like the whole movie.
What's really gonna do it for me, or break it for me, either make it or break it for me, is if they put in that "it's morphin' time" dun-dun-dun-dun, and they put in that badass old music. If they somehow implement that music to the end of the movie, I will be very happy.
Very nostalgic.
Yes.
Exactly.
If they take that part out of it, I'll be very pissed off, and I'll think that was a complete wasted opportunity, because that's what's really going to make guys like me and you
Yeah.
and other guys that watched it when they were kids and really liked it and jumped around their living room wearing the costumes, pretending they were the Red Ranger and shit. We want to see that.
Right.
We want to hear that music.
I do.
I don't want to hear Kanye West in the movie. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to hear rap. I don't want to hear some new track some new kind of music for the Power Rangers. I'm not really expecting to see the exact same music, but they can put some kind of new twist on it and make it sound really tight. Because at the very end of the trailer, you do hear something. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, give me more than that, though. You know what I mean? Like, come on, just do it.
Yeah.
And I think it'll really pay off if they do. I know that's a really small thing to hope for, but that's what's really going to do it for me.
And that's what a lot of fans look for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My movie news is also a trailer that got released like the same week, and that's Logan.
Yeah, baby.
Oh my gosh, did you see the new trailer?
We can't both do the same movie, so I'll let you have this one, but I'm more excited about this than Power Rangers. I can't fucking wait to see Logan, dude.
Have you seen the new trailer
Yes.
with the little girl?
Yes.
What,
Dude.
maybe 23 or something?
Oh my God, it's going to be tight, dude. And her
can't wait.
rated R looks so freaking bloody
Yeah.
and nasty. Oh, I can't wait, dude.
Yeah.
And on top of that, on top of it being rated R, it's not going to be like really like funny like Deadpool. I like Deadpool a lot, but I'm also looking forward to seeing a superhero movie that's rated R that's not hilarious like Deadpool. You know what I mean? I want to see some brutal, serious drama
You will.
shit. You know what I mean?
in the trailer, like every
Yeah.
time you see like Logan like swipe someone with his claws, like blood just everywhere.
I just realized that we used the word brutal in this episode like 50 times. I don't know why, but
Sorry, listeners, that was probably brutal to your ears.
yeah, it's just my favorite word for the week, I guess.
I've noticed that in a lot of our videos, or a lot of our episodes, we'll
just kind of overuse this.
overuse
certain
like
word.
one specific word.
Yeah.
Like in our Scream episode, we're like absolutely,
Absolutely.
absolutely. And then like in Star Wars, I think we said the word epic like a million times.
Did we?
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Epic, it's epic.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So Logan comes out March 3rd. We are going to see that for shizzle.
So brutal, dude.
I know. Dude, I cannot wait.
Absolutely.
I'm
It looks
looking
epic.
so forward to that. Like I wasn't sure in the first trailer, like it looked cool, but after this new trailer now, I'm like, this is gonna be the dopest movie.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it's not a summer blockbuster.
I know, dude.
It's like March.
I'm so excited that we get to see it in like 6 weeks or some shit.
I know, I can't
really,
wait.
really soon, dude.
For real.
It's going to be a good night.
All right, so we're going to wrap it up. Let's get into our contact information. I will go first. You can find me on social media, both at the same name, Twitter and Instagram. It is moviemen_. Please go follow me there and talk to me. Write me. I like interacting with all of us, and it's nice to be meeting the people that we're meeting. Very enjoyable. Also, you can find me on YouTube. I'm now doing movie review videos on YouTube, and you can just look up Greg and Mr. B, and you will see that. Please subscribe and comment. I would appreciate it. Mr. B, where can they reach you?
Right on. You can reach me at my Gmail account. That would be being scared, like the feeling of being scared at 86@gmail.com. You can look me up on Twitter if you type in capital B for being_scared. You can look me up on Instagram, being_scared. And please, 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 if you like horror, go check out my YouTube channel, Being Scared, where I narrate scary stories. I think you'd like it.
Do it.
Do it.
Anything last you want to say?
No, I think I'm good.
All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and remember when you go home to watch a movie, man. Have a good week, everybody.